Why am I on his side? I'm just a saucy little punker. I told her that we're a couple. Her stuff is my stuff also. No! My sister will watch and say nothing, and they just stick their tongue out if I say anything. You wanna stick your tongue out to me? And we have a blended family of 6, 2 children each. Okay, no, wait, 6? Ah, they're counting themselves. Okay. So hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Layla, and it is everyone's favorite time of the month. So in case you're new here and you have no idea what's going on, come on in, take a seat. So every last Friday of the month, I like to post Am I the A-hole stories. We read a wide variety, a wide mix, and we make our judgments here on this channel. And in case you have been just living under a rock and have no idea what Am I the A-hole is, Am I the A-hole is a subreddit on Reddit where people can post about a story or a situation or something that happened and ask the timeless question, am I the a-hole? And in the comment section, people will go, yes, no, maybe so, everybody sucks here, so on and so forth. Now, we've collected quite a few from various sources tonight. One of my main go-tos for, like, really toxic is this page on Instagram called Toxic Reddit. They are a page that curates some of the most toxic stories from across various subreddits, not just Am I the A-hole. So if you want to check them out, they will be linked down below. We've also, for the past couple of months, been using this page called Reddit.rabbit. Very inactive. Haven't posted since 2022, but they posted a lot of crazy stories, so I just kind of wanted to finish going through the account. We're almost at the end. And they too will be linked down below if you want to check out any of their posts. And today, I have a very special guest with me. That completely blocks the light. Look at that. So today with me, I have my brand new Mac laptop because I've noticed the past couple times I've read these stories, I have had completely dyslexic moments and just mixed up words. So I thought maybe a bigger screen would help. I'm not bragging, I'm just showing you. And I'm just so excited to have this here with us today. It makes things a lot easier. Like, look at the size of this. Look at the size of this. So we're gonna try it. Maybe I'll be a little less dyslexic. I don't know if I like it, but we'll see. So that is what we're gonna be doing tonight. So everyone, what I want you to do is to grab your snacks, grab your drinks, get all comfy cozy, and let's just dive right in with the first post. Am I the a-hole for reminding my brother that he's adopted and not a true part of my family? So I'm 19 female and my brother is 18. He was adopted when I was 4, and my parents have been nothing but kind to him. They treat us exactly the same, and he knows that they've given him a good life with amazing opportunities. My only issue is that he's very clingy and too attached. He was always like that. For example, when we were little, he always wanted to play with me, and not other kids. Oh, he's just the worst. Our teachers had to physically separate us because he wouldn't let go of my arm. Over the years, the attachment wasn't that extreme, but he's still clingy. I'm not sure why, but it's tiring. Anyway, I was FaceTiming my cousin and her friends. My brother was also with me in the room, and her friends noticed him in the background and asked who that is. Before I could answer, someone asked if he's my boyfriend. Cringe. And I explained that he's my brother. They pointed out that we look nothing alike, so I clarified that he's adopted. I explained that he has never blended in with my family because he just looks/behaves too different. My brother was suddenly very quiet and left the room. After a while, I went to speak to him and we had a huge argument. He thinks that I hate to be associated with him because I'm always quick to clarify we're not biologically related. I told him that he's not a true part of my family, so I have the right to tell people he's adopted. He looked at me with a blank stare and didn't reply. Honestly, I was pretty mad and told him to leave me alone for a while. Apparently, my dad saw him crying, and I got into serious trouble with my parents. I don't know if he told them what happened, but I've never seen him cry, so they probably think it's very serious. Maybe because it is? Did you think about that? They're furious with me and want me to apologize. Am I the a-hole for being truthful with my brother? Holy, This might be the clearest you're the a-hole I've ever seen on this sub. Your brother has been part of the family since he was 4 years old. Of course, a child who has experienced enough upheaval to end up being adopted at age 4 could end up being clingy or whatever. You should be thankful that you didn't have to deal with that in your early childhood, rather than judging him for his reaction to it. It sounds like you started being jealous of your brother as soon as he became part of your family, and haven't quite managed to grow out of it yet. You might think that you fit in with your family, but honestly, I'd imagine your parents are sat trying to work out where the hell they went wrong to raise you to be so cold, nasty, and malicious. I have never seen that many upvotes on a post, I think, ever. Wow, you really gotta go out of your way to hate someone you've known since you were 4. Bet she's white and the brother isn't. Is there something higher than a-hole? Because what the heck? I agree. This really is one of the most clear-cut you're the a-hole children who have been taken away from their families, or have been in and out of foster systems, or have just had a tumultuous beginning to their life, generally tend to be a little bit different. So these kids are deeply traumatized, deeply wounded by what occurred to them, so sometimes they'll be really clingy, or they'll be very different from a child who was raised in a healthy, good environment. They're very close in age. She's a year older, and so she was 4, and so that would have made him like about 3. So they're very close in age. It does sound like there's a bit of jealousy, or maybe just kind of hatred towards him for becoming part of their family. See, and isn't it kind of confusing that her cousin and her cousin's friends didn't know that she had an adopted brother? The story sounds a little bit fake to me because of that, but there are people who treat adopted siblings like complete garbage because they're not biologically related. We've seen it with foster kids, and it's really sad because these kids get the worst in life at the beginning of life, and then they're brought into a new family where sometimes you're just treated like complete garbage by the other kids in the family, clearly, and you have all this stuff, all this baggage to unpack, you know, and to have a sibling on top of it that just treats you like complete human garbage is really sad. So you are the a-hole. There is no way around this. It just sounds like you're jealous of him, that you hate him, and it is pretty clear that you are completely unapologetic about what you said and did. Now, this is a pretty old post from 5 years ago. It's deleted, and he probably was so clingy with her because they're so close in age, which adds like this other level of really extreme sadness to it. Yeah, so 100% the a-hole, ew, yikes. You're a bad person. Let's move on to the next one. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister if she can't curb her kids' selfish eating that they aren't welcome to dinner at my home? My sister has 2 sons, ages 8 and 11, and they have an issue with being, as I call it, selfish eaters. Let me explain what I mean by that. We have regular family dinners. Everyone takes turns. Most people serve food on the table for everyone to take. Well, her boys attack the food and take much more than they'll ever eat and then let it go cold, or they will eat little pieces of everything, leaving it uneatable for others. Ew. I started to serve everyone's plates of food to try and combat this, but they will take food off other people's plates. My sister will watch and say nothing, and they just stick their tongue out if I say anything. You want to stick your tongue out to me? The way I would rage. It's worse at their own house, where they will sometimes just pull the whole plates over to them and refuse to give anyone something until they've decided what they want. I've spoken to my sister many times. I gave her 3 warnings and warned her that she was coming close to the limit. Well, I had everyone over for dinner last weekend. My older nephew ended up taking food off my husband's plate, off my father's plate. My husband's and my younger nephew took food off everyone's plate. Huh? That sentence doesn't make sense. He was running around taking what he wanted and making a huge mess in the process. Oh! I told my sister when dinner was over that they were not going to be invited anymore. She called me and said that her sons deserve more. That I'm excluding them for petty reasons. Being annoying, slobs, disgusting, rude. I told her that I also wouldn't go to her house, that I always leave hungry anyway. She told me only an a-hole would make this big of a deal about food, and that we can always just get more. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your sister needs to teach her children better. If it was just a case of overeating, this would be a different story. But it seems the kinds don't even really eat all the food they take. They just have impulse and behavioral issues, and your sister is refusing to admit it. It seems more like a, well, I want this and I don't want anyone else to have it thing, because sometimes most goes uneaten and cold. Sometimes it's they eat a little bit of everything, leaving huge amounts partially eaten. And they are such messy eaters, ugh, it makes me uncomfortable. Info, do the children have any learning disabilities or other needs? My gut reaction was that those children are being brought up to be rude and selfish, and that your sister is missing some key parenting duties. However, I did wonder if there were any reasons behind her approach other than just sheer laziness/indulgence. For a normally developing 11-year-old to be behaving like this is very concerning. No learning disability or special needs that we are aware of. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'd be throwing hands if I was with these kids. I'm sorry. You're too old to be acting that way. Listen, I don't know what's going on with these kids. They apparently don't have developmental stuff, okay? So maybe something's going on in the home. Their parent, or parents, I don't know, are not doing their job. We often pin the blame on children when in reality, a lot of the issues start with the parents. So if your parents are like, when their child is being absolutely feral, then you're part of the problem, right? It's really hard to not get annoyed at the children, but at the end of the day, it's clear that the parents are not doing their job. So you're not the a-hole. They are, first of all, being disgusting, rude, selfish, and impolite, and if they continue on this path, ain't nobody gonna want to eat with them. That's disgusting. I am disgusted. I blame the parents because clearly there's something a little bit deeper going on. Now, obviously, we never know the full situation with stories like these, but we have to take a look at them as they are and draw conclusions from them as they are. We can't be adding context and be like, well, actually, in the second grade, like, there's no way to know anything beyond what was given to us. So I think you're not the a-hole, but I think the parents very much are the a-hole. I would not feel comfortable calling children that because at the end of the day, it is a parent's responsibility to fix the behaviors of their children. The children are clearly just being allowed to do whatever the HEW hockey sticks they want. It's very annoying. I would have a hard time controlling my rage if I saw that with anyone in my family. And the way the sister responded was really are you for real right now? You're disrespecting someone else's house. You're letting your kids do whatever they want. It's like those parents that let their kids run around in a restaurant screaming and crying and grabbing stuff. Take care of your kid. We're zen. We're chill. We're cool. That's just my take on it. That's my thought, and that's my opinion. Maybe you think something different. So anyways, on to the next one. Am I the a-hole for not helping my cheating pregnant ex-wife when she fell in front of our daughter? I, 38 male, have a daughter who's 15. Her mom and I divorced 3 years ago. I really loved her, but she initiated the divorce because she said she'd fallen out of love with me, and she admitted to having feelings for one of her close friends. It mentally traumatized me for a while, but therapy helped me move on. She was very apologetic about everything, but I was just done with her after the divorce. We have since maintained a stable co-parenting relationship for our daughter's sake. She's now remarried to her affair partner and currently pregnant. Last week, I was dropping my daughter off for her scheduled time at her mom's place. As my ex was coming out of the house, she tripped on something and fell pretty badly. It was really scary considering she's a few months pregnant, and my daughter was immediately panicked and rushed to help her. She asked me to come out and help, but honestly, I didn't really care. I just told her to call her stepdad, and then I left. That's kinda cold. I might sound harsh, but in my mind, it wasn't my responsibility anymore. Anyway, when my daughter came home last night, she seemed really sad. I asked her if the baby was going to be okay, and she said yes, but then she told me that what I did last week was the cruelest thing she's ever seen anyone do. She cried again and went up to her room. I do feel guilty about my daughter crying, but I don't feel guilty about what I did. Am I the a-hole? Was hurting your daughter worth it? Because I guarantee you, you've changed her view towards you for the foreseeable future. And therapy didn't really seem to help you much, honestly, because it's clear you're still angry and spiteful towards your ex-wife. If you can't be a role model for your daughter, then what the hell are you even doing? Not every single thing is about you, Op. You're the a-hole. This is either rage bait, or you suck as a human being. Absolutely, you're the a-hole. I don't understand how you could even think you're right here. You seriously need more therapy. You lost your child's respect when she was the one asking for your help, when she was scared and afraid, and you let her down big time. Not to mention, it's an utterly disgusting reaction to seeing a pregnant woman being hurt. That's seriously messed up, dude, and you'll be losing your daughter next if you don't get help. She left him with no compassion for him. Not his problem. Why am I on his side? I'm just a sassy little punker. So I kind of have some thoughts on this. So I would say that my parents are watching Mission Impossible upstairs. So I would say that I do see quite a lot of residual anger on the original poster's part. Really, I think it's messed up if you see someone, even if you despise them, and you see them potentially get hurt, and then someone else you should care about in this circumstance, it's their daughter, is like, please help, and you're like, nah, and you get in your car and you drive away, you're gonna come across as an a-hole. Now, clearly, he still has issues with the ex-wife, and I don't know that I really agree with calling this, the person she remarried her affair partner, because what I'm reading in the story is that she initiated the divorce because she'd fallen out of love with the original poster, and then admitted to having feelings for one of her close friends. I don't know if there's more to it, like something actually happened and there was an actual affair, but it just seems like there's a lot of bitterness, and it's been 3 years. If I saw someone that I despise and don't like as a person, I'd probably be like, heh, but then the human side of me would be like, okay, maybe they got hurt and I should step in. Plus, if someone else is like, oh, they fell, please help, please check, my instinct would be then to, for that person's sake, ensure that the other person is okay. I think he's just harboring a lot of hate. If she did cheat on him, that sucks. Ultimately, you're not a good person. It doesn't matter what the situation is. If you did end up cheating on your spouse, you suck. If you're new to my channel and you're like, I know nothing about you, there is no circumstance in which I'm like, cheating is okay, ever. You know, if you think of it from the perspective of the daughter, your mother just fell, possibly injured herself, and then your dad drives away and it's not his problem. That would probably change the way you see your father, because it seems like a very cruel, cold, callous response. Those are my thoughts on it. I don't think I could do that to someone and just dip. I also don't know the full situation on cheating. I just don't think I can side with him on this one. This one in no way, shape, or form do I think is real. But I'm going to include it because it's a good example of narcissism. For that, I want to read it. Am I the a-hole for giving my sister my girlfriend's necklace and getting mad when she demanded it back? I have a girlfriend who I've dated for like 3 years now. See why I think it's fake? Just the writing. She has this gold locket that she's had since she was like 9. It's from this Disney series, and it's in the shape of a heart with a keyhole sort of shape. It's a nice locket, and it's pretty unique too. But to me, it's just a necklace. My girlfriend hasn't been wearing it for a while now because she said she really needed to get a gold chain for it. I told her she already has a chain, but she apparently can't wear it because it's made of silver and she's allergic to silver. That's a thing. I don't know how anyone can be allergic to silver, since it's in a lot of things. You'd be surprised what people can be allergic to. Some people are allergic to water, the sun, the sky! So she's been planning on getting a gold chain, which, in my opinion, is a waste of money. The locket itself is made of actual gold, so why waste more on it? Because she's allergic to silver! So she hasn't been wearing it, and my sister visited us. I've been worried about her. To show I still care for her health and such, I gave my girlfriend's locket as a gift. My sister loved it, and she's not allergic to silver, and thought it was cute. When my girlfriend came home, she ended up finding out I gave away her lock. She demanded I go retrieve her locket. I said no. and she decided to go get the locket back from my sister. My sister called me crying, telling me my girlfriend stole the locket from her. I told my girlfriend she should give the necklace back. My girlfriend told me to F right off and said the necklace was special. I told her it's just a necklace and she can buy a new one if she wants. She said it's the only one like this, and that this necklace holds a lot of meaning to her. I told her that makes no sense, since it's just from a Disney game with Mickey Mouse and other characters. She blew up on me and called me an effing thief. I told her that we're a couple, her stuff is my stuff also. No! She threatened to sell my stuff if I ever touched her necklace or anything ever again. I told her she's overreacting. That the necklace is a better suit for a child since it's so childish to get mad over a necklace. She refuses to talk to me now, and I don't plan on apologizing for giving my sister a gift. Am I the a-hole? Info, how old are you? My girlfriend is 22 and I'm 26. Okay, so what's your problem that you can't understand that you shouldn't give away things that are not yours? Gosh, you're way too old to be trolling on Reddit. You're the a-hole, obviously. You don't give away people's things. Is this for real? This has to be a troll. I mean, come on. Dude is giving away sentimental items that aren't his? Nah, no one is that dense. We're a couple. Your stuff is my stuff. Absolutely fake. Not even a good one. No one is this dense. You'd be surprised. Narcissists, especially male ones, tend to think the world belongs to them. It's honestly, if this is fake, it's just a really poor attempt at being like, ha 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 ha, I trolled you guys. I hate people who use Reddit as a creative writing exercise. This post, I believe, is like pre-ChatGPT, so it's not even AI. It's just straight up rage bait, and it's a really bad story, but there are people who would do this to people's items who would be like, well, I decided to give this because I don't believe you're actually allergic. Narcissists do walk amongst us every day, and stories like these do actually occur. There are people who think that if you were in a relationship, your stuff is their stuff. I think that's the kind of thing that if there are, like, personal items, it's never gonna belong to the other person. So, like, when it comes to clothing, you can't go and take my clothes and donate them because they aren't yours to decide what to do with. There's just certain autonomy that you should have within a healthy, normal relationship where people should not be going, well, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours, and I'm gonna give this away. It is a thing that actually happens, so that's why I included this story, not because I think the story is real, but it is a situation that does happen in real life, and it's unfortunate. So beyond a shadow of a doubt, obviously this guy is the a-hole. If you disagree, what's wrong with you? Anyways, on to the next one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to slow down or change how I bike with our 3-year-old daughter in a trailer? My wife and I recently moved to the US after years living in Europe. I'm American, she's Danish, and biking has always been a big part of our lives. Ever since our daughter was born 3 years ago, we've taken her on rides in a bike trailer. It was normal back in Europe, and we've never had any issues. Now that we're in a more rural area, we ride on country roads. I usually pull the trailer, and my wife rides behind me. I tend to ride around 20 miles per hour, maybe up to 25 miles per hour if conditions are good. That sounds like you're just zipping! The trailer is built for it, my daughter is securely strapped in, and I know what I'm doing. I work in tech, and I've been cycling for years. I don't need to run simulations or plug numbers into formulas, and I can tell from how the bike moves what's safe and what's not. Yeah, until a rock gets in your path, you're both gonna go skull first. My wife has a PhD in physics, which she never hesitates to bring up when we disagree on anything, even slightly technical. Love women in STEM. Is that STEM? I don't know. Don't answer that. Her specialty is fluid dynamics, and most of her work is on computers, so I don't really see how that applies to a bike trailer. Physics. She keeps telling me I should slow down, avoid roads entirely, and only ride during the day and on proper trails. She says she saw the trailer wheel lift a little during a turn once, but I don't think that actually happened. And even if it did, a small amount is within the tolerance before it tips. I didn't feel anything, and I think I would know if something that serious occurred. I explained that with the weight and design of the trailer, it would take way more force than that to tip, or like an uneven path, really. She keeps repeating the same concerns, and I keep telling her she's overreacting. I know what the limits are. I've ridden long enough to feel it. Physics isn't just equations. Some of it is instinct and experience. I've never offered to slow down or change routes because I genuinely think what I'm doing is already safe. Even so, she still joins me on every ride. She follows behind me on her own bike and sometimes makes comments while we're riding, but she doesn't stop coming. It's frustrating because it feels like she doesn't trust me, even though I'm the one actually pulling the trailer and making the calls. Sometimes she'll pretend to be tired to get me to slow down, when before we had a child and rode without a trailer, she had better endurance than me. I love her daughter, and I never do anything to put her in danger. But I also think my wife is being overly cautious and letting her anxiety and emotions get in the way. Oh, emotional women. You fools. Just because she has a physics degree doesn't mean she understands bike handling better than I do. Most pro riders don't have physics degrees. I trust what I feel on the road. Edit, you're the a-hole for putting a little bit of fun over your wife's comfort and daughter's safety. Info, what is the consequence of your wife being wrong and you slowing down to put her mind at ease? The consequence of your wife being right is the harm of your daughter, up to and including permanent disability and death. So, what is the actual cost of you being more careful because it makes your wife feel better? Biking in America is nothing like biking in Europe, and frankly, I'll trust the Europeans' judgment of safe biking practices. But what exactly do you actually lose in this compromise that makes it worth standing your ground? And then in regards to this comment he made, do you have any idea what pregnancy and childbirth does to the female body? It is less fun, as the dedicated trails aren't as fun. I like some of the country roads, and biking slow isn't fun. Take a shot every time he says fun. Shut up! Okay. She's recovered and still does runs and other things where she has better endurance than me. She's a little more athletic than I am, though I can do better for stuff like sprints. I like how he pointed out most of her work was on computers to indicate less experience, after saying he works in tech. He is definitely insecure that his wife has a PhD. Imagine your partner asking you to prioritize your mutual child safety and you refuse because it's not fun. Wow. Just because she has a degree in physics. A doctorate in physics. That means she understands physics more than the vast majority of people, including her husband, who felt the need to say he works in tech, which has nothing to do with anything. Sounds like he's jealous of his wife. I do gotta kinda agree here. What do you lose from slowing down? Like, do you have to be zipping down the trail for this to be fun? People will always be like, oh, you're so negative, but a permanent disability that could have been avoided, like a broken neck, fractured skull, brain damage, or death, because children die, pretty easily. Anything that can be made as safe as possible for the child involved, I think should be done. Now, if this dude was zipping on trails and doing this all by himself, and there was no child attached to the bike, I'd be like, okay, I mean, if he loves to go fast, go fast. Do you think your speed? But when you have a living human being, a fragile little human being, have it attached to you, you are now involving this other life and possibly putting them in danger. Biking in Europe versus America, I feel like, are drastically different. I haven't seen like a whole lot of America, but our trails versus their streets, they can be a little bit different. Not everything here is set up properly for biking, especially when it's like an attached vehicle on a bike. Really, my line of questioning is like the other commenter, is what do you really lose from just slowing down and giving your wife peace of mind? Her degree, I also think, does give her some credibility in the laws of motion and what could happen if, God forbid, there is an accident of some sort. You always think it's not going to happen to you until the day it does. And if there is anything you can do to protect your child and keep them safe and avoid accidental injury or death, I think you should do it. And it does sound like he's downplaying her degree a little bit. 20 miles per hour up to 25 sounds really fast. I'm envisioning that in a car and then imagining that on a trail, and that just seems like insanely fast. If anything happens, someone's gonna get really injured. That is my belief. I don't know physics. I don't have to know physics to know how human bodies work. If you hit something, you impact something when you're going 25 miles an hour and you fly off. It's just, I don't think it's worth the risk. I don't think it's worth fighting. And it kind of seems like this is maybe his ego is like, nah, nothing's ever gonna happen as long as the kid's with me. But that's my take on it. Maybe I'm just biased. Maybe I'm just overlooking things. I don't know. It has now come to that time of the night where we are going to read one last crazy one for the night and call it there. This one is a little bit long and a little bit crazy, but trust me, it's worth it. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend I don't want his kid's mother to call during outings? I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and we have a blended family of 6, 2 children each. Okay, no, wait, 6? Ah, they're counting themselves. Okay. It's been quite the transition for everyone living together, but we are at a place of harmony. His ex insists on calling almost every single night to say goodnight to the kids. His daughter is here on weekends, and his son lives with us, and I have no issue with this. Sometimes it's annoying, but we are mostly at home most nights, and it's no issue. This weekend, we were going to Great Wolf Lodge, a huge indoor water park. That sounds like so much fun. And I told my boyfriend that I would prefer she didn't call during our stay. We are staying one night. Well, too bad. She's the mother of the kids. Anyways, he didn't want to make waves with her because she's kind of a... And I get that. But I can't imagine every outing, every trip, every vacation having her call every single night. I'd like to enjoy our time as a family, and it is not her time. Am I the a-hole for asking she F off when we have something special planned? You're the a-hole, they're her kids too. Imagine how you'd feel in her shoes. There is a reason the evil step-parent trope exists. This is it. You're the a-hole. I wouldn't label OP as evil for having a thought and asking her boyfriend a question. Why do you jump so far so fast? And now here's where things get a little bit Someone commented, OP is the other woman and admits to stealing the husband. And so Reddit.rabbit found the post and posted it. So this is a completely different subreddit than Am I the A-hole, but I just want to give you some context for what we're talking about. So this is from r/unsent letters, exactly how it sounds. Same user, same username, so we know it's the same person. I wish you'd F off. You are one of the most repulsive people I have ever had the displeasure of knowing. Your house is a mess. Your finances are a mess. Your mental health, mess! I gotta hand it to you. Your commitment to pretending you have your stuff together is impressive. You really have an image to maintain. But I know the real you. You can't hide from yourself. You are your own worst enemy. And I am counting down the days to your downfall. Look, I'm sorry I stole your husband, alright? It wasn't my intention. I honestly came into this relationship thinking, no strings. Awesome. This is a healthy couple. Boundaries have been established. This can work. I quickly discovered that this wasn't the case. I didn't mean to fall in love with him, or for him to fall in love with me. At first, I did genuinely feel bad. I kinda wanted this all to work out. It was very early on when the first few red flags popped up. The lying, the manipulating, the role of victim you play so well. I wanted as far the freak away from you as possible, but I was in love with your husband. I tried to leave twice, but you knew how happy I made him. You asked me to stay. Am I happy I did? Sometimes I'm not so sure. Not a day goes by I'm not grateful you're no longer weighing him down. Dead weight. 3 years. I've been with him 3 years, and in that time we've built a beautiful life together. A blended family, 4 children, half of whom I struggle to have a relationship with. I know you whisper in their ears about me. You've painted a picture of me to anyone willing to spare you a moment of their time. Do they know you cheated on him a week before your wedding? How about we invited you to our house on Christmas, and you used it as an opportunity to piss in our mouthwash? No? Perhaps it would enlighten everyone to know you legit tried to send a man you met off a dating site to pick up your children, a man they have never met, and drop them off to an empty home while you're on your way because you just can't seem to get your priorities straight. I've celebrated your mom's birthday with her. Your dad's with his. We've spent holidays together. They've paid for a hotel. Do people know that? They still love him, you know. He will always be a part of the family. They can be indifferent about me, but the fact is that they may hate you even more than I do. What a burden you truly are to everyone you happen to come into contact with until they see the real you and drop you. You're slowly undoing yourself. 30 absences for your daughter this year so far. I pray you continue to be your own piece of self. Just go F off and allow your children the family they deserve. We're attentive, we're clean, we have the means to provide all your children will ever need. You're unnecessary. Don't get me wrong, you'll always be their mother, but they won't stay children forever. The days of taking advantage of their innocence is coming to a close. The house will be sold come October. You're running out of places to hide. Honestly, you'd be doing everyone a favor if you just effed right off. Your parents are disappointed in you. Your children see how effed up you are. You still haven't moved past the fact I am actively giving your ex-husband everything you were incapable of providing. The best thing you can do for all of us is to vanish out of our lives. If you want your children to succeed and have the life they've always wanted, kindly F off forever. Your sad life is never getting better. Don't drag them down with you, just so you're not alone. So, with the given context, I don't really know what to say. So, one of my favorite things that has been said about Am I the A-hole posts is that, and Reddit stories in general, is that the narrator is not always reliable, right? Because they have, obviously, like, their inherent biases. So, sometimes when stories are written out, they're written out through a really biased way. Now, I have no idea what this mother's like. If she pissed in their mouthwash, that's crazy. But I can't verify that even actually happened. So, what people are saying is that the original poster was a homewrecker, so it's very hard to feel any level of empathy just from that moment forward. But irregardless, a mother should be allowed to say goodnight to her kids. That's it, that's all, goodnight. There's nothing more to it. You not allowing kids that are not your children, like I get they're a blended family, but they aren't your children, they still have a mother, not allowing them to say goodnight could be distressing them, could be making them feel weird. It could be causing issues between them and their mother and their father. This is a messy situation, and it's deeply dramatic, but honestly, the original poster sounds kind of like they're very bitter and spiraling. If you are the other woman, it's really hard for me to get into the mindset of, well, okay. I don't know the situation in full, and we will never know because this post has been deleted, but it sounds like there's a lot more to it, and it's just messed up to prevent children from saying goodnight to their mother. So for that, I would say you are the a-hole. For the unsent letter, I really don't know what to say to that, but that was genuinely, it just feels like this spewing of hate throughout the whole thing. I cannot speak onto if maybe the mother is crazy. Maybe every person in the story is just nuts. I don't know. Now, if any of those things in that unwritten letter are true, that's a little concerning. Why are you peeing in people's mouthwash? But yeah, I don't know. Just for the situation as it was written out, you are the a-hole for preventing kids from saying goodnight to their mummy. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. So yeah, that is where we are going to end it for the night. Tonight were some pretty good, pretty crazy stories. Hopefully everyone enjoyed. And if you don't want to end the night here and you're like, I want to hang out with you more, first of all, you can subscribe. We're on a YouTube journey, and I want you to be part of it. Don't you want to be one of the OGs? I know you do. But if you do want to spend more time with me, I will link down below to my Am I the A-hole only stories playlist, as well as to regular Reddit stories, if you want to check it out. And there's a lot more on this channel to explore. I would say we have a couple different tiers of content. We have, well, it's all stories. So we have, like, internet history, we have creepy stuff, we have creepy true stories, we have investigative stuff, we have some kind of maybe silly things, that we have a lot of Reddit stories. Those take up the largest portion of this channel. So yeah, if you want to spend more time with me, explore the channel. There's a lot. We're at over 100 videos now, which is crazy. I will also link down to every post that I am able to track down to myself, so you can read through the original post yourself, as well as to Reddit.rabbit and Toxic Reddit, if you want to give them a follow and read through some of those stories, because there's just some I'm never going to be able to get to. There's a lot of stories. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you all here next time.